Here it is, Thursday already. Time sure does fly when you're not accomplishing anything. I'm trying to think, what have I done this week? Made chicken salad this morning, pretty good. Had it for lunch. That's probably one of the best things I can make, because I don't forget what ingredients go in it. I make it often enough. We're going to experiment a little bit with this camera. They didn't make cameras for people like me who need longer arms and better methods where she can sit in a chair and move the camera around the room. No, that doesn't work for me, but we're going to see what happens anyway. Now I'm sitting by my dining room table. I've got it all spread out, and I'm going to go all the way around the table, but I'm going to have to pick up the camera because it won't work on my stand so that you can see piece by piece what I'm going to show you. But first, before I show you the table, do you remember, some of you will remember this now, remember when your mother didn't have any silver cleaner and she would put a big sheet of aluminum foil in the bottom of the sink? She'd sprinkle about, I'm going to guess and say, half a cup of salt. Sprinkled it all over the aluminum foil. And then she put about 2 inches of water covering that. Got out her silver plate. She had silver plate, remembrance pattern. And she spread it out all over that aluminum foil so that each piece was not touching each other. And you leave it there, I'm going to guess, because it's been such a long time since I've seen her do this. You leave it there probably 2 to 4 hours at the least. And when you get through, you take your silver out, you rinse it off, dry it off, and this is what you get. This is my silver. I put it in the sink. Now, I didn't clean it after I got through. I just rinsed it off. Now, I should take a soft cloth and clean it so that it doesn't have a foggy look about it. But take a look how nice it looks. Wouldn't you say someone has sat with silver cleaner and cleaned this? But they didn't. Here are the forks. They're just as pretty. Now, if you aren't familiar with this, it's because you're too young to remember these things. This is what women did as a substitute when they didn't have the right product. So I wanted you to see this tray that now this isn't all of the silverware, it's about half of it that I had in the box. And I thought, well, I never use more than 4 place settings anyway. But I wanted you to see how nice and pretty and how clean it gets. Now, somebody's going to come through and say, oh, you should never do that. Well, it worked for Mama, so it's going to work for me too. That's how I look at it. So, I'm going to take this tray off the table. See, I had it all spread out here on a platter so that you could see it. If I turn it, I'll spill it. But I just want you to see, this is what I cleaned a couple of days ago. And I thought, well, some of you may not be familiar with that method, and it might work for you in a pinch when you can't get your hands on your silver polish. Now, I'm going to have to walk around the table with my camera. I'm a little wiggly, you know that. Like, I don't do things exactly right, but just consider this the homemade method. Yeah, just about everything I do is homemade, or everything I have is homemade. So I'm going to show you a little bit of it. One of you asked me if I would show my jewel tea dishes. And I've got a fairly nice collection. I had never intended to collect the jewel tea dishes, but you know about them, I'm sure. If you don't, I'll tell you what little I know. I know that it's made by the Hall Company, and it was produced in 1933 through about 1975. And the way you got the dishes was through a door-to-door salesman. The Jewel Tea Man. Mama, the Jewel Tea Man's here. He came about once a month. And believe it or not, we kids liked when he came, because we got to see all of the stuff he had, the stuff he was selling. He sold linens, kitchen-y things. He sold vanilla extract. I'm sure he had other flavors too. I don't know. I can't remember some of the things, but it was interesting, you know, watching him demonstrate these things for my mother. And they started selling dishes. And the first pattern I recall was Autumn Leaf. I'm going to give you a close-up of the little berry bowl. You'll recognize it, Autumn Leaf. Isn't it a pretty little dish? I'm going to show you the next little dish. It's just a little bread and butter dish, just like the berry bowl. The third one is, I'd say this is a salad, small salad plate. Got the gold label on the back. I didn't look to see what it says, and of course, without my magnifying glass, can't read it anyway. Don't know if I've got it upside down or right side up. It doesn't matter. You know what it is. The Jewel Tea Autumn Leaf pattern. We'll put that one aside too. And I'm going to call this the luncheon plate. It's about, looks to be about 8 inches, maybe 8.5 inches. That's 3 plates so far. Kinda nice. Some of you may not like the pattern, but I guess it's probably the first thing I ever learned about good dishes and good china was Autumn Leaf, Jewel Tea Man. Now the next plate I used is just something, I picked up a 4-place setting of these plates, and I said, this will go well. I can do my layering with this. And then, of course, last is the dinner plate. It's at least 9 inches. It might be 9.5 inches. I can't see. I want to show you, and I want to see it at the same time. So there you go. Now I'm going to put these back together and show you what it looks like sitting on the table. Just give me a second to put things back in place. I'm going to have to pick up my camera It's going to wiggle a little because that's what I do, is wiggle. So you bear with me. But I think you'll enjoy seeing this. Let's see if I get it straight. Okay. Let's go at it with a side angle. There you go. There you've got the whole set. All the plate, the little berry bowl, and the black plate in between. Now these are on a placemat. See that placemat? And my $10 set of silverware. Not really silverware. It's just stainless steel. I'm going to carry the camera around the table and try to get it at an angle so that you can see the table good. But it's going to be hard because I need to see the camera myself. All right. Here, you're looking at a teapot, or it may have been, no, it wasn't a percolator, it's a teapot. But notice the pattern, that's called the tulip pattern. It came much later than autumn leaf. All right, let's see what we can get here. Here's a side view. You're looking at a, let's move the teapot. Get it out of the way if I can. Right here is a small mixing bowl and the pie plate. Mama had a pie plate. Well, I've got two of them. One of them is hers. Next you have, you know, I don't like the way this is working out, but I'll go on through with it anyway. It's the large mixing bowl, and in it are soup cups. See the little soup cup? They don't have any handles. I've got a whole bunch of them. Now I want you to look behind that. Am I getting it right? Okay. This right here is a large teapot. It's really large. It's got the salt and pepper, cream, sugar, all those things sitting around it. Let's get right here. The place setting again, like my copper. See the copper charger. This is my Anchor Hocking glass I got in when I went to Nashville for my birthday. And your place setting. All right. Don't look in the background. You're going to see things I don't want you to see. Here's another teapot. Isn't that pretty? And another teapot. Now this is the one my mother had. And what I like about it is the infuser. You remember those? You put your loose tea down in there, set it down in the hot tea and let it set a few minutes. And then you could pour your tea. I used to think that was so fantastic because I wasn't used to seeing things like this. We didn't have anything like that till Mama got hers from the Jewel Tea Man. In the center, what we got here? I want you to see my centerpiece. See this little red stuff? I think this is artificial bittersweet. See it? Artificial bittersweet. I got to looking at it and I said, yeah, that's what that is. So, the covered vegetable bowl. Ooh, this is a very heavy dish. Very nice dish. And I'm going to walk on around. Maybe if I step back, you can get a partial view of the table. Can you see some of it? See, there's my little stand with the bittersweet, the covered dish, and we'll come on around. And am I getting to it? All right. There's my basket. See the basket? It got coffee cups, saucers, berry bowls, pie plate, and the gravy boat, all in that basket. I thought it would make a rather nice display. And over to one side is another teapot. It does not have the infuser. I don't know what happened to it. But the next thing is something I want to show you. And I think you'll remember my story about picking bittersweet. When I got stuck on the farm and couldn't get my car started, that's when I was looking for bittersweet. Now you see this bowl, big covered dish. This is heavy too. I want you to see the, well, get the pattern on. Can't get a good hold on it. See that design? That is bittersweet. I didn't even know Jewel Tea Company made the bittersweet pattern. But when I saw this, I said, I found this at a Goodwill for about $6. And I said, I gotta have that covered dish. I'm gonna step back and see if I can get an overall picture of my table. You see the place setting. You see some of the pieces in the background. And of course my cabinet with the Fiesta ware. But if you look over to, let me point, whoops, right here. Look at that. That's my Fiesta ware mixing bowls, and they look so pretty in that stand. I thought you'd enjoy seeing those. I also used, folks, I'm not good at this at all, but that's my black and white checkered tablecloth. It's amazing what a beautiful table you can set with checkered tablecloth. The one I did before this was also a fall scene, but it was a deep, almost a pumpkin gold, larger plaid tablecloth, and it was perfect. Well, you can see what you get with a black background, black and white background. You can do almost anything. There we go. I like that little basket. Just fill a basket full of dishes, and that's all you have to do. Now, I know there must have been something else I was going to show you. Jan called me today, and she said, now I'm going to set this down. Give me just a minute to move. I'm going to sit down and talk to you. I don't like to just talk to nothing. Nobody's there. Let me see if I can get this so that you can see me. Here I am. Yeah, got my bright orange on. So, now you made me forget what I was going to tell you. Doesn't really matter. Jan went to an estate sale yesterday, and she couldn't wait to call and tell me what all she found. And I'm not going to tell you what she found because I may end up showing you some of the things, but it was pretty exciting estate sale, and I'm very anxious to see things she's got. She and I are going to Louisville probably Sunday to see her daughter, Jessica. Jessica just recently moved into a new little house. The house is not new. It's one that was built about in 1950s. It's a small house. Has 2 bedrooms upstairs with bath and 1 bedroom on the main floor. The rooms are rather small. That's the way they built them back then. Today they build one room was the size of our house. And these rooms are smaller, but it's a little cottage style house. The kind that you can fix up so cute. The kind I think I remember seeing in movies. When she gets through with it, it'll be very warm and decorative. I can guarantee you that. So we're planning on a 2-day trip, and we're going to run around a little bit. We can't go to Louisville without checking out all the thrift shops. I don't know, it's getting pretty bad when your life revolves around thrift shops. Who would ever have thought you were going to get a big kick out of looking at somebody else's old junk? But you can, because there's so many things there you will recognize. And you say, I remember those when I was a kid. It almost makes you want to buy it. And sometimes you do. So that's what I'm going to leave you with today, is my Jewel Tea dishes. I was giving some thought to selling them because they just sit in a cabinet. And I hate to see collections that never get used. But then when I got them out and spread them out on my table, kind of changed my mind. These dishes are pretty, and they remind me of another time. They remind me of my mother. I would sit in the kitchen, sit at the table, and watch her go through the Jewel Tea Man products. I remember he had a cake box. He had tablecloths. And Mama even bought it was a coffee dispenser. You may have seen one. The one she bought had the tulip design on it. And it's attached to the wall. Pour your coffee in there. And when you're ready to fix a pot of coffee, you pull a little lever, pull it forward, hold your coffee pot underneath, you pull it forward, and you get enough coffee for 1 cup. Push it back, get enough coffee for a 2nd cup. So as many times as you move the lever back and forth, you will get enough coffee for an extra cup of brewed coffee. You never have to do any measuring of your own. And it used to fascinate me to think, I'd watch her put her coffee into her coffee pot. And I thought that was the most fascinating thing ever was. And here I am, telling you stories staring at an iPad screen, seeing myself in that screen, and I can't believe I'm doing that either. And look at the difference between what I'm doing and what my mother did. Isn't it amazing how much progress has been made? Some of the progress I think is wonderful. A lot of it I wish they'd never dreamed of. And I suppose you are thinking the same thing too. Now I've managed to get through this video and I haven't heard a siren yet. It was getting to where I couldn't do a video without the sirens going up the street. But if I don't get off right now, I'm going to have to backtrack on my word there, because one will come along pretty soon. And it's almost become a joke. Not a joke if you're the one that's called for the siren, fire truck, or ambulance. But when you're trying to avoid those sirens, that's when it gets to be funny. You gotta laugh about something. It's a beautiful day today, and before long we're gonna see the leaves falling from the trees, and I really want to get outside and do some videos outside. And I might just be able to get to do one while I'm in Louisville at Jessica's house. That'll be fun. Jan will be there. And Jessica's, she's going to be in Cincinnati, and Jan and I are going to be at her house running around having fun. So that's it for today. I hope you've enjoyed this segment. And I do want to continue to encourage you to ask your friend to watch my channel, to invite their friend to watch my channel. And I hope I can come up with subject matter that is pleasing to you and story you like. Now, we could talk about movies all day long, but I go way back in the movies. And I'm starting to forget the names of the movie stars. Don't let me do that. Because I knew all the old movie stars and most of the names of the movies. And I just saw a second one this past week with Dirk Bogarde. I thought he was so handsome, and his movies were slightly different to what we're used to seeing, but I enjoyed every movie I ever saw of him, and I thought I'd forgotten all about him, and now I've seen him twice this week. It must be the week or the month that they're showing, featuring him. Yes, ladies, he was handsome. And I was young, so you know how that goes. Thank you for watching.